If you've been alive for a while and you've been on the internet, you've probably heard of a little guy named Morgan Spurlock. He's known primarily for his movies.
State in America, Mississippi, where 1 in 4 people are obese.
One of the things I hate about internet browsers is how bullying they are. I love personalizing stuff and ruining it. I love ruining stuff. I like taking something that's great and ruining it with my own sense of style and love. Today's video is sponsored by Opera GX, the ultimate browser that you can ruin for yourself. Seriously though, if you use Chrome, Safari, especially Safari or Edge or any, you're missing out, bro. Opera is awesome. It's the ultimate browser for gamers, and it's got cool little widgets that are built in, and it's fun and it's cool, and yeah, it's cool. There's mods and what the why wouldn't you? It's like RimWorld, but for browsers. You got custom sounds when you close and open tabs, keyboard sounds. Why would just download it? Click the link in the description and download Opera. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's one of those no-brainers. So yeah, download Opera GX using the link in the description and go to the GX store and explore the endless possibilities for customization. Some created by Opera GX themselves, some created by ne'er-do-wells existing in the liminal space between reality and the internet. Liminal space. The sidebar thing is my personal favorite. I have so many apps in mine. I've got Discord, TikTok, Facebook. I don't have TikTok or Facebook. You can get those though. I have Spotify and ChatGPT. It's pretty sweet. And if you use another browser and you have a bunch of bookmarks and things along those lines like I do, you can just use the quick import tool and it just copies everything over and it's awesome. It's pretty cool. Guys, I actually like Opera GX. I'm grateful to have them as a sponsor on my channel. Check out the pinned comment or go in the description and download the Opera GX. Thank you to Opera GX for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys, most importantly. Morgan Spurlock kind of became like the first big-time mukbanger, and if you think about it, in a sense, and recently, it seems that he was canceled, and then also right after that, he unfortunately died, and it's not good. It's a sad situation, and I'd like to cover it because it's complicated, and it's interesting, to be honest, because he was canceled a week before he died. So why was Mr. Spurlock canceled? Was it for no reason? Like what has happened sometimes? No, it was found that some of the information that was in his documentaries was considered misleading. And this is bad, right? Because when you're a documentary guy and you do some documentary stuff, you're supposed to be honest and truthful so people can learn and you can be used as an example on how to change your behavior potentially better. I'm not sure. I watched that Jiro Dreams of Sushi movie. Didn't do shit, but I liked it. You know? And like I mentioned, shortly after his cancellation, he died. I think nowadays, anyways, the Super Size Me documentary, if it were to be made, would probably be poorly received because it's sort of a fat-shaming thing, whether or not it's true or factual or untrue or infactual. Is that the opposite of factual? What's the word for when something's not true? I forgot.
I was at this meal, and it came up that one of the people was a smoker. And somebody else at the table started hectoring them about it.
Not good. It reminds me of the time that I committed to the 30-day Topo Chico diet, where all I drank was Topo Chico for 30 days. If I would have gone 10 more, I'd have been sort of like Jesus. After the release of the film, it would be nominated for numerous awards and win the very first Writers Guild of America award for Best Documentary Screenplay. It's pretty impressive. To just hit the ground running on YouTube, viewable, free with ads. Oh my God. Food, McDonald's. I love McDonald's. I want to go eat some McDonald's after this video, I think. Well, we'll see, actually. This could turn people off of McDonald's. I could be sued for losing them business, potentially. As any great artist does, Morgan also decided to write an accompanying book to the film in 2005 titled Don't Eat This Book, Fast Food and the Supersizing of America. Genius, man. You gotta hit him with the whole shebang. You gotta get him with the book and the documentary / YouTube video. Pretty chill, TBH. The same year that he would put out the film, he would create Warrior Poet Productions and publish all of his preceding work through his own company. He also worked for his brother through their production company on numerous projects. The guy was quite a busy little bee, TBH. After this, Morgan would go on to work with FX and produce a show called 30 Days, in which a person or a group of people, or even Mr. Spurlock himself, would live in certain situations for 30 days.
Some people want to make coal a thing of the past, but with so much cheap coal right here in the good old US of A, others say, why stop? And this got me thinking. We hear a lot about coal these days, but what about the people who mine it? What's life like for the guys I grew up around, who stayed in West Virginia and who go underground every day to keep our world powered up? There's one way to find out, as I go back home to West Virginia to work as a coal miner for the next 30 days.
Living with a Muslim.
Tonight on 30 Days. A practicing Christian from West Virginia goes to live in the heart of Muslim America.
Could I pass for an Arab?
Will the clash of cultures confirm his belief that Islam is a violent religion?
You guys think it's possible that there's any like sleeper cell activity around here?
Genius. It's like Mr. Beast. If Mr. Beast had personality, if he had mojo. Just kidding. He's got plenty of mojo. I'm just teasing. I'm just giving him a light ribbing. He deserves it. Let's be real. That guy is doing well. All right. I deserve it. I'm a idiot. The show would run for 3 seasons from 2005 to 2008, and his next work would be with MTV on a show called I Bet You Will. The premise of the show, which was originally a 5-minute webcast, was to bet people to do crazy things.
I bet you will brand toilet paper, and I bet you will brand molasses. Well, guess what? We are going to put the molasses on you. And we are going to wrap you up like a mummy. For $20? Up in 25? $50.
You're my clothes here. You
$75. 75? Shake the hand. She's gonna do it for $75.
I bet you will. Get it? It's in the name.
This is official I Bet You Will brand lard on our lovely slip and slide. You're gonna slide all the way down to 90 pounds of uncooked bacon. The deal is, most creative slide wins, okay? The winner is gonna take home $50. Everybody else wins nothing. Just a bunch of lard on your body.
Burger Andy collabed on this with the worm burrito. Eating worm, that's a deep Twitch lore joke there. He also ate a jar of mayo on the show along with the worm burrito. It was pretty crazy. He was the main host of the show, and some of Mr. Spurlock's other work includes another documentary called Where in the World is Osama bin Laden, which sounds like a terrible children's book.
Osama.
And in this film, he would Lord Miles it up and visit numerous African and Middle Eastern countries and talk with people, political figures and the like, and members of the respective armies to figure out exactly where Osama bin Laden is. He also talked just in general about Islamic fundamentalism and the US's war on terror. Spurlock was considered an embedded journalist, or a journalist attached to a military unit in active combat. Pretty interesting stuff. Way more difficult and way scarier and way more dangerous than eating McDonald's for 30 days.
Where's Osama bin Laden?
يمكن يكون هناك في المغرب لا في شي دولة أخرى.
سوي بالله ما نعرف أنا عارفه.
Bin Laden?
Bin Laden.
I'm not a politic man.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about I'm a carpet dealer. I sell carpet.
Interestingly, in the film, Morgan Spurlock speculated that bin Laden was hiding near Peshawar, Pakistan. When bin Laden was found, he was only 200 kilometers away in Abbottabad, which is ridiculous. What's even crazier is in a report in 2017 directly from the CIA, Spurlock's documentary is found on one of Osama bin Laden's hard drive. By the way, look up the other stuff that was on Osama bin Laden hard drive. I've singulared it. It's supposed to be plural. He had more than one hard drive. He had some weird shit on his hard drives. Guy was a freak, all right? You know? Weird dude, to be honest. So yeah, the point is the guy was prolific and he was considered a legit journalist, and you know, there's some interesting stuff that he did. He contributed a lot of stuff journalistically, more than I ever have in my entire life. But it still comes down to the fact that no film that he made has had as great of an impact on the world such as Super Size Me, specifically the success that it had on him. Not really the impact on the world, more so his success. It was gigantic. Now, what exactly was Super Size Me? Well, you came to the right YouTube channel. Super Size Me would shed a light on America's unhealthy relationship with fast food. Okay, guys. And further on, in a terribly called shot, absolute horrible. This dude is like the opposite of Nostradamus. He says that 2012 will be the year of McDonald's death. That's funny.
I guess the big question is, who do you want to see go first? You or them?
That's funny. It's been 20 years and McDonald's is still around, still f***ing people over. But oh well. That's just because they keep raising prices and they don't have to. They just keep opening up shitty stores and they don't care about how they're built anymore. They all look the same. They're stupid, lame, like death. They taste like death and they deliver death and they also look like that, dude. At least have some fun. At least make it look cool if you're trying to kill me and be honest about it. I'll eat it if you do that. You. That's also another point that has aged quite poorly. So how did this film impact society? Society, it's honestly huge. It's gigantic. It was massively popular. You can see all the stats of it. It did very, very, very well. It was a breakout success for Mr. Spurlock. But how did it trickle down into an actual effect? How did it actionably affect society? Did it do anything good? Did it actually help us at all? Probably not. Did it fall flat? Probably. Okay, probably. Actually, it did have a pretty substantial impact on the landscape of fast food in America. 6 weeks after the film was released, McDonald's, alongside most other major fast food chains, removed their supersize options from their menus entirely, which is awesome. Huge, massive W.
Of course, they stopped supersizing.
Right after this.
Right after.
6 weeks after the movie premiered at Sundance. And, you know, what they love to say is they love to say this would have been a great chance to really begin a dialogue, to start to open some doors, you know, to a solution. And look at what's happening. Look at the dialogue that's happening with you and I around the country. I mean, this movie is really starting people to talk about it.
I know that they're going to start offering an adult Happy Meal, which includes a salad, a bottle of water, a pedometer, and a diet activity log designed by a nutritionist.
This hits stores today. So they eliminated supersizing. They said it has nothing to do with the film. You know, the adult Happy Meal hits stores today. The movie opens tomorrow. Just another amazing coincidence.
That is a gigantic deal because the supersize option had been a staple of the fast food industry since 1987. So the late 80s, dude. And he removed it with his documentary where he made them look terrible. Rightfully so, in my opinion. I like it. I like it. But not all of it aged well, okay? As for advertising for the supersize option, McDonald's put a ad in a bunch of movies. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Big news! McDonald's Supersize Cups now feature the stars of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I'm a coon.
Now at McDonald's, for a limited engagement, appearing on 3 different supersized Coca-Cola cups, the stars of the new movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Good time.
Jurassic Park.
Something big is coming to McDonald's.
Pour it down.
Something of such enormous proportions.
Stand back.
It could only be called the Jurassic Park Extra Value Meal.
Okay. Let's eat.
An enormously juicy triple cheeseburger with fries and a medium drink in one of 6 free Jurassic Park collector cups. The Jurassic Park Extra Value Meal, a dino-sized value for a dino-sized appetite.
Hey, where's mine?
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
All right.
The point of that is that this documentary toppled that billion-dollar idea, probably a multi-million-dollar at least idea, hundreds of millions of dollars idea. That's incredible. McDonald's, in a hilariously weak attempt to try and do as much damage control for their public PR as possible after taking down their supersized menu, said that they didn't do it because of the documentary. It was in no way related, which is bold thing to say there, dude. Ronald, who are you, a clown? What the hell? Shut up, bitch. My phone just went, You know how when it like tries to talk back and you just shut it down immediately? Quit yapping, how about that? Not only did this documentary take down the supersized menu across America, but it also made it into health classes in high schools across the US. There were mixed reviews, of course, by students and parents about the film, but nonetheless, it had a clear impact on US society and it completely changed the narrative in regard to fast food. It was huge. It was massively important. You like how in the beginning of this, I was pretending like I didn't know? I knew this whole time. It's wild. This thing was a big deal. Seriously, big deal. And that is extra doubly important when you get to how he got canceled. Morgan Spurlock got canceled. By the way, this whole thing was the conflagration that led to Michelle Obama a few years later when the Obama administration took office and they implemented the new food standards for foods that were served in schools within the United States, which they made them ass, to be fair, but it's a lot healthier, arguably healthier in some instances, not every instance, of course. Lots of reviews came out. Lots of people who were upset. Some of these upset people could be viewed as just purely defensive reactions to parents and children who obviously have been consuming fast food for their entire lives regularly, and they hate to see their lifestyles criticized. People hate being criticized, which is fair and valid. And if you're doing it and you're not hurting anybody, who the f cares? But if you're like hurting your children by letting them eat McDonald's a lot, I'd say 3 times a week is too much, in my opinion. If I had to say, I'd say 3 times a week is too much. I'm like once a week, if that, for McDonald's specifically. Probably once a week, I'll have pizza generally, and some late nights, I'll get a Big Mac. Some like Saturday nights. Honestly, it's probably every other every 2 weeks, I'd say, maybe twice a month max. Yeah, I think that's accurate. I could see on my DoorDash, but because I never go there, it's not worth going there. And I also only take about a bite, and then I get full because I'm a puss boy. Anyways, off the tangent now. A lot of people probably wondering, did this have a big effect on how people ate in America? Well, kinda, yeah. It's safe to assume that it would, for sure. You know, people might see this. They already believe that McDonald's isn't super healthy. That's why most people don't eat McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that's dumb. Most people know that fast food is not healthy, and they eat it rarely. It probably reinforced that, which is good. But it actually did make a pretty substantial difference. In a study published in 2007 by the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, I think that's how you say that. I'm not exactly sure. Dietetics. The study was titled Knowledge and Psychosocial Effects of the Film Super Size Me on Young Adults. The study found that young adults who had watched the documentary compared to young adults who didn't consciously made more healthy diet choices, which is very interesting. And I feel like that's true. You know, just like how whenever people watch my videos, their lives improve drastically. You know, it's kind of like one of those things. It's like a symbiotic relationship we've got here. Baby girl. So according to the study, this documentary had a positive effect on its viewers, which is cool. At the very least, as a result of the film, fast food restaurants made their nutrition info for their menu items a lot more accessible, following the revelation made by the film that many McDonald's locations didn't have any nutrition info. Just couldn't find out what was in McDonald's. That's crazy. Now it's just common. You open it up and you see that it's terrible for you. People still eat it though. Doesn't change much. You get a little tray, a little thing on the bottom side, little nutritional facts. Furthermore, in a chart posted by the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, it is seen that childhood obesity levels went down a little. Yeah, that's cool. But unfortunately, they skyrocketed in 2013 and 14 when Morgan Spurlock's next movie, I Was Wrong, came out. Just kidding, it had nothing to do with him. But that does seem to be related to an increase in food advertising though. Plus an increase in watching television and being lazy pieces of shit. And that, in turn, has led to a massive increase in obesity nationwide, which is terrible. It's an absolute bad thing. So, the supersized truth comes out. Why did Morgan Spurlock get canceled as a result of this? Seems like a good thing. If you see Super Size Me as a propaganda piece against the fast food industry and McDonald's in particular, in 2013 we saw the opposite when a high school teacher named John Cisna created his own McDonald's documentary which completely refuted everything made by Morgan in Super Size Me. All the claims.
My name is John Cisna, and I'm a junior and senior high science teacher at Colonesco High School here in Colo, Iowa. One of the alarming statistics that's risen its ugly head in this country is that of obesity and weight problems. In the United States alone, 2 out of every 3 people are considered to be overweight. And what's even more alarming is that 1 out of every 3 people in the United States is considered obese.
So John ate McDonald's every meal for 3 months instead of 1 month, and the goal was to see if you could become healthier by eating McDonald's, which is crazy.
So we are going to try to replicate the Super Size Me documentary that was done, only do it exactly opposite in the way it was done several years ago. Instead of starting with somebody that is in shape, that is exercising, whose blood work is very good, we're going to start from the other end of the spectrum. Voila, Mr. Cisna.
We are going to test the hypothesis, is it possible for a person to eat nothing but breakfast, lunch, and dinner at McDonald's for 90 straight days to become healthy?
Over the course of the experiment, John had help in the form of some students crafting his daily menu. This, along with the parameters to stay closer to the 2,000 or so daily calories recommended, which is what I kind of said in the very beginning.
This is the team of students that put together this project. On my immediate left is Tanner, in the middle is Grant, and on the end is Savannah. All 3 are planning to go to college to study some form of exercise and/or nutrition. Tanner, Grant, and Savannah were in charge of creating the menu each day. They had to allow me 2,000 calories per day and to stay as close as possible to the recommended daily allowance of the 15 nutrients we were tracking. This ended up being a balancing act, as they had to take in consideration both of these parameters as they changed the menus.
And due to John's different parameters, he never really got tired of his food. It's a very different experiment from Morgan's experiment because he was just eating McDonald's all day, every single day. He never tried specifically to stay within a certain parameter. He tried to eat as much as he possibly could to the point where he would vomit.
And many people kept asking me, aren't you getting tired of the menu? Or aren't you getting tired of eating at the same place? And the answer is no.
There were no recommended nutrition guidelines. He was just eating. He would buy something from McDonald's and eat all of it, which is that normal? Do you guys finish stuff that you get when you eat food? When you buy food, do you finish it? I don't ever finish it. I don't eat a lot. I need to eat more. I'm skinny. Look at me, I'm skinny. Skinny legend. You know, it's what that opium will do. I got that opium den body. It's also important to remember in Morgan's doc that whenever he was asked if he wanted his order supersized, he would. And while Morgan would see his health decline over the length of the experiment, John saw his health improve, which is crazy. Calories in, calories out. I don't know, man. It's interesting. This guy got a vegan wife too. What the is going on right now? Sounds like they got beef. Get it? John also began exercising for this experiment, walking 1.5 miles in 30 minutes on his first day. He just improved his life, but instead of eating healthy food, he just ate McDonald's food within the recommended daily nutrition guidelines. So, interesting stuff.
The nutritional part was pretty easy, but the exercise, that was a horse of a different color. As you can see here, the first day didn't start off quite as well as I hoped it would.
Well, I tell you what. My mind says yes, my body says holy buckets Batman. Didn't quite make it the 45 minutes, made it 30 minutes, but this is kind of tough carrying this kind of weight around. I did make it 1.5 miles though, so 1.5 miles in 30 minutes, that's about a 3-minute mile pace. I have no doubt I'm going to have to warm up tomorrow morning just to get out of bed.
And with his daily activity, he would continue to improve. He got all the way up to walking for 40 minutes, 2.25 miles.
Well, I was right. The next day, I did have to warm up just to get out of bed, and I swear if I would have died, I would have felt better. But as you can see from this clip, as time went on, it got better and better, and there was hope of what was to come.
Well, kind of reached the end of my rope for today. This is the end of the first week of the exercises. Today I didn't quite make it 45 minutes, made it 40 minutes, but I made it 9 laps, so that's about 2.25 miles, so if I do the math right, that's around 3 1/3 miles per hour. It's a whole lot better than I started the week.
By the end of his 5th week, he dropped 20 pounds and still wasn't tired of eating McDonald's.
Just concluded the 5th week. I've dropped 20.2 pounds. I feel great, and the thing that's really surprising, pleasantly surprising, is that I'm not tired of the McDonald's food. I think there's just enough deviation in the meals that I'm getting that's still making it nice.
In my opinion, this is more of a testament to the effects of just consistent exercise than it is to the health effects of McDonald's. You know, it kind of makes a bit of sense like that, but I don't think anybody with a brain would say that McDonald's is like healthy. Right? I feel like food should rot. When you leave it out in the sun, I feel like bugs and shit should come and eat it, but they don't with McDonald's. It's weird. So yeah, it's possible to become healthier when you're eating McDonald's for sure, but is it the best option? Absolutely not. There's no way. I think that's, if you pretend that it is the best option, or if you pretend that it doesn't matter, you're misrepresenting the actual facts of the situation here. Morgan's is just saying that McDonald's is bad always, no matter what, but it also includes the important context that when you eat it a lot and you just make yourself sick by eating so much of it, and you're just drinking a lot of soda and stuff, that's bad. And then this guy's kind of like doing the opposite thing, where it's just like, well, this is, you know, I've lost a lot of weight and I got really healthy, but it's also just the consistent exercise and eating a certain amount of calories. You'd be better off just not. You'd be better off just exercising and doing that. Both could be seen as irresponsible, is the point. So in my opinion, this does not prove the opposite of Morgan's experiments, but it kind of also does. It's just equally biased things kind of fighting against one another. Their experiments aren't alike, and they do not represent any information in an unbiased way or fashion, which leaves the truth likely hidden somewhere in the middle, which is just eat healthy most of the time, 80% of the time. 20% of the time, do whatever you want. You'll be healthier that way, I promise. And your brain will work better as well. I do think John's documentary does show that there is an importance of using critical thinking skills and planning meals around nutrition and moderation. I do think there's a lot of benefit to that. And obviously Morgan's documentary does a good job of shining a light on the problem that glorifying food that is not good for you is a problem. There's a really good video on YouTube from Kiana Dougherty. I think, about John's documentary calling into question its integrity. I would recommend you guys watching it. It's very interesting. I want to know what you guys think, because it really is hard to, McDonald's is bad for you, but exercise is good, and eating too much is also bad for you. If you eat a little bit, it's fine. It's like, there's a lot of complexity. It's not that simple. It's not just calories in, calories out, and you'll be healthier. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy as well. Like, that's bullshit as well. Ask people with eating disorders. I mean, come on.
The issue for me was, in addition to this documentary being pretty cringe, the documentary ended up being both the perfect advertisement for McDonald's and rebuttal to Super Size Me. Like, to the point that McDonald's couldn't have written it better themselves.
If I would have given the kids this project and said, look, I want you to go to a grocery store and I want you to put me on a 2,000 calorie diet, of course you're going to be better off. The only difference between that and what we did is that we had a smaller grocery store. Our grocery store was McDonald's.
Morgan would have more trouble in his future other than just John, our boy, releasing a documentary contradicting the claims that were made in his character would be called into question only a few short years later. And by a few short years, I mean like a couple weeks ago, and he died right after that, which is really extremely sad. But he was canceled. He was recently canceled for some things that came out about the documentary we've been talking about, Super Size Me. This is like the first time he's been canceled in regard to Super Size Me, but in 2017, December, he was canceled during the Me Too movement. He publicly admitted to sexual misconduct with a girl while drunk and cheating on his previous spouses in a twit-longer. He released a twit-longer about it. That's not good. Bad move there, buddy boy. This admission in 2017 would cause him to step down from his production company and from just making films altogether. His sequel to Super Size Me was supposed to be a YouTube Red exclusive, akin to how his first film gained such notoriety, but it was dropped by YouTube after his statements went public. The film did get distributed by Samuel Goldwyn Films in 2019, the same company who also distributes the first film without ads, the one that was on YouTube at least. And the Me Too news got picked up by a bunch of publications, numerous news outlets. NBC, they damaged his reputation massive. Well, he damaged his own reputation and they just kind of made it the news. That's what the news does. It's what I do too. I love damaging people's reputations. It's kind of like my thing. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just talk about shit that happens. Seems like people like their own shit up though. It's kind of what it's kind of the way I look at it. But yeah, anyways, December 2017, not the first time he's been canceled. The most recent one. He's public eye reputation's damaged for sure. And then after this one, he got canceled again because it was becoming more public that he had been binging alcohol during the entire filming of the famous Super Size Me documentary, and that he had been a chronic alcoholic for 30 years, which is a very long time. He first publicly mentioned this in the 2017 twit-longer. However, the signs were subtly available within the documentary. 2 separate doctors commented on the atrocious state of his liver. One even compared his liver to someone who had a drinking problem, ironically enough. And pretty bad. And it would seem that his cancellation this year has been slowly building up, with people tweeting how angry and how tricked they felt by him in this documentary. This goes back as far as 2 years, and it really came to a head recently. And then unfortunately, he died right after. He died May 23rd, 2024. And since then, and before that, people have been talking about how he just flat out lied about the damage that McDonald's did on his body, when in reality, it was alcohol that did a majority of that damage. Because alcohol is actually poison. We don't need to establish that. That's what getting drunk is. It's getting poisoned, you idiots. It's crazy though. Morgan was once hailed a hero for toppling greedy fast food, taking on lobbyists. I mean, the true kind of like badass sort of, I am a revolutionary type thing, you know? I am a revolutionary. But he also loved the sauce, unfortunately, which is bad. Another terrible disease. People, though, getting a little carried away with it. They're calling his death a byproduct of karma for lying to the U.S. public about the effects of McDonald's on the body, which I feel like it's not really that harmful, to be honest. It's just not healthy. McDonald's is just not healthy. I wonder if McDonald's is going to sue him now. Alcohol is bad, though. I mean, that's 100% sure. There are numerous studies that conclude that excessive alcohol use can lead to cancer. There's a lot. There's hundreds of them. There's a shit ton, just like smoking too much. Same thing. It's all bad for you. Now, it is important to say that alcoholism is actually a very, very, very serious disease that truly does affect your brain. And people who quit, actual alcoholics who shake and they have all these problems and they can't function without alcohol, they can't just quit. They can't just quit. Your body releases these like weird off-gassing particles and shit. You have seizures, you can die. It's incredibly dangerous to just quit cold turkey with alcohol. You can't really, it's hard to detox out of a hospital, to be honest. It's up to look into too. But I would say that more people are affected negatively with sugar and fast food and shit. More people die from metabolic disorders than they do from alcoholism. Although it is a leading cause. A lot of people die from a lot of different things. And most of those things are just because they don't enjoy things in moderation. It's up. So yeah, it's pretty clear that Morgan struggled with this disease, and it seems that people online are overlooking the fact that, you know, it is actually a disease and it's complicated. It's what everyone sort of overlooks, is that it's complicated. It's not that complicated that he did, you know, admit to sexual misconduct. That's pretty up, to be honest. People are more upset that he lied in the famous documentary. So anyways, guys, Morgan Spurlock was a heroic documentarian who set out to make media that had a huge impact on whoever watched what he made. In some ways, he succeeded in this goal. However, in other ways, it would seem his integrity came into question when it meant most. As of his passing, his problems with alcohol have come to light, and people are extremely upset with the results of what we found out here. I would just say, man, that sucks. That sucks. I know alcoholics. It's bad. It's really rough. I also know obese people. That can be really bad and really rough. Be healthy. Be healthy. Find some friends, people who love you. Be healthy. Read some books. Drink some water. Just one step at a time is all you need to do. One little step at a time. A couple years, you have a couple thousand steps. It adds up. I'm just saying, it's real easy to do something real small. Even though it seems like it's pointless, it's not. Just one little step at a time. Or not.